So I'm just listening to Radio Caroline on my old bush, but I'm going to turn that down. Back over onto the bench. I've taken the chassis out, as you can see. I've also rewired the speaker because the rubber wiring that were on there was completely perished and falling off. And considering it's got a field coil with high voltage on it, I thought, you've really got to replace that. So I've rewired it. And this is confession time. I have made a mistake. And the mistake is this. So you see I've replaced some of the caps, grid coupling cap among them. And I'm still getting volts on the grid. 17 volts on the grid. Thinking, well, why would that be like that? Well, I had another look at the schematic, and so that's the grid line, that one there, that's the volume control. Now when it bottoms out, so it's connected down here, and normally that a lot of the radios I worked on, that connects onto that ground 0 volt line there, but here you can see it connects onto this resistor here. Now that comes off the cathode. So when there's current passing down here, of course, you're going to end up with volts at this point here. So with that 0 there being tied to that point where there are volts, that means you're not going to get 0 volts on the grid, on the control grid. But when you look at the tube manufacturer's data, it wants -6 volts on that grid. Now what that -6 means, it doesn't mean that I expect to see -6 volts on the meter, as you saw I had about 17 volts. It kind of means that the grid voltage has got to be 6 volts negative of whatever's on the cathode. So what I need to do then is check what the voltage is on the cathode, and as long as that's about 6 volts negative of it, then that should be fine. So onto the radio. The cathode is that one there, pin 8, and I should be getting 17 plus 6 is about 23. So yeah, that is actually okay. So on to the next bit.